From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we have to be most careful about in the course of the next 2, 3, 4 years, and especially over the next 12 months, for reasons I cannot share entirely right now, some of it is privileged information, is the possibility of a regime change operation in the country, which is organized by the deep state. Now, many people believe that when I speak about the deep state, I speak only about the CIA or American intelligence operations. No, it could be others. It could be countries that appear to be benign to India, but which are not. It could be countries which are affiliates of our enemies. And it could be countries or individuals who are operating individually who are on the rolls of deep states of other countries. We have to be very careful about the very realistic possibility of large-scale violence, chaos and anarchy, which is instigated by people who want to, on the back of such an event, create a situation of anarchy and then carry out a regime change operations, particularly by using certain sections of the media, which becomes a very effective force amplifier for them, as was in the case with Bangladesh. Now, viewers, when I spoke about the deep state in the past, you supported me. Think for a while of what happened in 2019. The visuals will be on your screen. We saw the sudden and fast commencement of extreme violence in northeast Delhi. And over the week after that, 53 people died. The attempt was to say that Narendra Modi government has lost control. And there were riots in areas like Silampur, Jafrabad, Babarpur. We saw how there was an inclination to shift the blame by each side. Innocent people were dragged. Lynchings were carried out. This was open targeting of Hindus. Hindu phobia. Cops were shot at. Shops were burnt. Riot factories were up and about. And in some cases, a lot of arsenal for the riots was found to be stored on tops of houses, so which means that people who had planned this out. These were not just petrol bombs, acid bombs, but there were a lot of actual arms. Intelligence officials were killed. And I had said then that this was a very well thought out, well calculated, well concerted regime change operation. Yet every time I say regime change, every time I say deep state, I become the enemy of a group of people who know that when I say so, I'm targeting them. I was the first person to use the hashtag Tukde Tukde Gang. Now every second politician uses it. I use the word urban Naxal, and by the use of these hashtags, I made it clear that there was a clear and potent enemy within our country who we must target and identify, whether it is Sarjil Imam or every other rioter in Jahangirpuri. Ladies and gentlemen, now I have with me the preliminary submissions of the Delhi police in the court, where it has been said that at that time, the materials on record, including the chats referencing US President Donald Trump, established beyond doubt that there was an instant conspiracy pre-planned to be executed at the time when Trump was in India. And the Delhi police's affidavit goes on to say that the conspiracy hatched, nurtured and executed by the petitioner was to strike at the very heart of the sovereignty and integrity of this country. There is an attached note which says the international theory developed in the past few years would term these kinds of organized and sponsors protests as regime change operations. Thank you, Delhi police, for finally saying in as many words what I've been saying for the longest time. Thank you to the security forces for finally using this word regime change. They might as well now use the word deep state. Why this subtlety? If Republic is direct about it, the security agencies of this country also should be clear. This is exactly what happened in Nepal. This is exactly what happened in Kathmandu. This is exactly what happened in Dhaka. July 2024, ladies and gentlemen, when I spoke about regime change, Bangladesh was ripped apart. They want to rip apart India too. A democratically elected leader was made to flee her own country on 5th August 2024. And in our country too, there are some evil politicians, evil, EVIL. You know who I'm talking about, who want to carry out regime change of a democratically elected government. This is what they did in Nepal. Watch it, visual full frame. What is the difference between what they did in the Delhi riots and what they did in Kathmandu, what they did in Bangladesh? If it was the CIA which carried this out in Bangladesh, is there a possibility the CIA was behind what happened in Delhi too? I know the others will not say it, but Arnab Goswami and the Republic Media Network will say it as it is. For we do not believe in subtlety or fence-sitting anymore. We know the fakery of the Gen Z movement in Nepal, how people were massacred and burnt alive. The wife of a former prime minister was set ablaze. And ladies and gentlemen, with due respect, we want to ask the fake gang how they amplified making Greta Thunberg their ambassador, how woke Americans and Rihanna and pop stars and millions of dollars were put in to destabilize India. And this is why on the 26th of January 2021, there was an attempt to pull down the tricolour from the Red Fort. That is what regime change looks like. That is what regime change is. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what a deep state regime change operation is all about. I know I said it last year and you supported me. And I want to remind you that in 2021, ladies and gentlemen, January and February to be precise, 3 months after they had put me in prison on false charges, I had led a media campaign to expose those who wanted to carry out regime change in our country using a fake farmers' protest. I believe in speaking the truth, not in fake subtlety. The Delhi police affidavit says it as it is. I just wish it would be an open declaration by the central government. No more being on the defensive, trying to justify things. The central government, the parliament, the Supreme Court, the Election Commission must all understand there is an ongoing attempt at a regime change operation in our beloved country. Being subtle about it will allow it to grow, germinate, and lie low till they find an opportune moment, till some American benefactors, some Soros gang does not give them more money so they can carry out more violence in our country. But the Republic Media Network and I do not believe in such fence-sitting. Call it out, ladies and gentlemen. Call out the attempted regime change. Speak against the people who are trying to do it before it is too late. We need to fight for our country. We need to save our country. Let's debate.
On the 23rd of February 2020, a planned riot took shape. The first stone was pelted in northeast Delhi, and the mindless violence continued one entire week. The actors behind the Delhi riots tried to make it look spontaneous. But look at these pictures that exposed the deep-rooted, premeditated and pre-planned conspiracy. So-called activists and politicians came together to pelt stones, unleash riots, kill fellow Indians, as seen in just one such terrorist video from New Delhi. Meet one of the main conspirators, Umar Khalid. Listen to his pre-recorded speech. This speech, recorded hours before he was arrested in 2020, he tried to sell the CAA and NRC excuse.
हम वादा करते हैं 24 तारीख को जब डोनाल्ड ट्रंप हिंदुस्तान आएंगे तो हम ये बताएंगे कि हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री और हिंदुस्तान की सरकार हिंदुस्तान को बांटने का काम कर रही है.
It makes it clear that Umar Khalid had planned the entire conspiracy with his co-conspirators to the Trump visit. Republic has been fighting these anti-national forces, exposing them. And as the Delhi police now readies its affidavit against him, it's increasingly clear it was more than a protest, a regime change operation that went wrong. It was camouflaged to draw international attention, exactly how it unfolded in Dhaka, Colombo, and most recently, Kathmandu, Nepal.
तो हम हिंदुस्तान और नॉर्थ ईस्ट को परमानेंटली कट कर सकते हैं, पर परमानेंटली नहीं तो कम से कम 1 महीने के लिए तो कट कर ही सकते हैं. असम को काटना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है. असम और इंडिया कट के अलग हो जाए.
This is the second key conspirator. His name is Sharjeel Imam. Seen in this photo, seated with Umar Khalid and Yogendra Yadav, days before the Delhi riots, in a key meeting where they planned the possible regime change operation. Or look at this photo, where they are brainstorming on how to blockade Delhi. Harsh Mandar is seen with Sharjeel Imam. Look at this picture. A slingshot mounted on a terrace to shoot acid bottles on policemen. The idea was to create mayhem against the Indian state. The pictures and these signatures of the key players are in the affidavit. The CCTV videos of how they plotted the Delhi riots, where they gathered, matched the logs. A clear Nepal-like operation where the government was brought down. In Kathmandu, they called it the Gen Z movement. But in India, they wanted to instigate an armed rebellion, one where over 50 Indians were killed. Delhi riots, or the CAA and NRC riots, were a clear regime change operation.
Okay, so this is all exposed right now. Sanju Verma of the BJP, Sobarashtra and Ratan Sharda on one side, and we have Sheikh Hamir of the Congress and Priyanka Kakkar of Aam Aadmi Party, Tala Amar Rashidi of the Rashtra Ulama Council and Advocate Tasif Khan of the Trinamool Congress. So Priyanka, why is the Aam Aadmi Party so squeamish about this? Because of the involvement of your MLA. Because of the involvement of your MLA in a
strong objection of the mockery that you are doing of a matter that is sub judice, matter that will be taken up tomorrow, and you are doing a public media trial of the same in your show. You are making a mockery of this. Anyone who is responsible for regime change is the people of India. Is the
you are nobody. If the Supreme Court wants to pull me up for making a mockery, it can. I am not making a mockery. I am in my right. I am in my right. The matter is in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court does not stop me from debating what the Delhi police has put on record. You keep quiet.
Sharjeel Imam or Umar Khalid is not responsible. You are making a mockery. They are not, Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid are behind, are inside the jail. It is the people of India who is responsible for this regime change in 2024 election.
7 times Sharjeel Imam has sought adjournment. He is responsible for being in jail himself. Sharjeel Imam
have a majority. Modi is a minority. Modi is a minority.
Hashtag no bail for Umar.
Running this government with the help of the alliance.
Can I please come in?
Sanju Verma is on the debate, ladies and gentlemen. The debate is on. Sanju Verma of the BJP on the attempted regime change operation.
Of a judicial.
Now, Arnab, I did not interject when Tausif Goswami for speaking. I need my time. It's a serious debate. Let's not make this into some kind of a tutu meme.
Sanju, you will speak.
Because your show is widely watched.
Sanju,
can I please finish now? I'm not even started and this man has already become so rattled.
Come up with some feminine name.
You finish. Once you're done,
more feminine because you.
Once you're done, I will speak.
You should change your name to more feminine. Now shut up.
Get out of my show, Tausif.
Let me speak.
Get out of my show. What did you say? A name should be more feminine. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You said a name should be more feminine. Tausif said that. He's a misogynist. He's a misogynist. He's a classic male chauvinist pig. Please do not do this. You are being an MCP on my program. Subhrashta is on the debate. We object. Subhrashta, and we take strong objection to the personal attack on Sanju Verma by this chauvinist, misogynist Trinamool member who is saying that her name is not feminine. One sec, Subhrashta.
I take huge umbrage to this fact, and if Tausif Khan does not apologize, or if you do not kick him out of the show, Arnab, I won't be able to be a part of this. There is another woman on the show, perhaps on the other side. Maybe she's comfortable with that.
I don't know why she's smiling. Why is Priyanka smiling when she says
they continue to?
Yeah.
I don't want to. No, I don't want to continue.
I'm laughing at the. I'm laughing.
This legitimizes the position of these men.
I laughed.
I have huge differences with Sanju Verma. I sometimes do not like the kind of stance that she takes. Maybe I sometimes do not, like the candor in which she speaks. But Tausif shall not be allowed to debate unless he apologizes in person right now on live television debate. What do you mean by her name is not feminine enough? What do you mean by that? Is that what Mamata Banerjee has taught you? And is this how you are going to, divert the attention of this debate from debating India's national sovereignty and the right to defend national sovereignty?
These are the supporters of the Sandesh Kali rapists. Okay. These are the rapist supporters. This is the rapist supporter, Tausif. He's a rapist supporter. He supported the rapists during Sandesh Kali. He's been a supporter of rapists, and he says Sanju Verma does not have a feminine name.
Folded hand request to you. Please kick this man out
from your show, Arnab. Unless he apologizes, please ask him to leave.
Nor does he have his politics.
Either I give you one last chance, 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, one last chance.
Deserve to be on your panel.
I promise you, I am giving him one last chance.
The Supreme Court has not considered the.
I am telling my producers.
So,
if this chauvinist, misogynistic does not apologize within the next 10 seconds, throw him out of the program.
In this show, it is your time. Arnab, it is your time
10,
to apologize.
9,
Supreme Court in
8, apologize.
7,
6,
you are making
apologize.
It is your time. You must
5,
apologize. You
4,
must apologize.
3,
the contents
2,
of affidavit
1,
is filed in
audio down.
Court.
Remove him. That's the most I can do, ladies and gentlemen. That's the most.
Thank you so much, Arnab.
That's the most I can do. I don't agree with Sanju Verma more often than not as well, Subhrashta. But this man says your name is not feminine. There was so much subtext in that. Did you notice, Subhrashta? There was so much subtext. Your name is not feminine. And there was not a word of protest, but there's a smile on the face of Congressman Sheikh Hamid. Just watch it. He likes it. This is the Congress party's real face.
Can I come in?
And Priyanka looked down when that happened. So unfortunate. We come back to the debate, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming back to the main subject of the debate now. We will have. We need to discuss what happened, which was the regime change operation, the attempt to remove the democratically elected Modi government from power within less than 1 year of their winning the 2019 election. Sanju, at this point, debating with Priyanka, then it's open. Sanju.
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you to Subhrashta for taking a strong stand, and also more importantly to you, Arnab. And, just on a lighter vein, there are times when I too don't agree with Subhrashta, and I don't agree with you too, Arnab. But this is beyond you, me or Subhrashta. Let's come to the moot point. I want to tell your audience what the Delhi court said while listening to the bail application of Umar Khalid. Admittedly, these protests metamorphosed into violent riots in February 2020, which began by firstly choking public roads, then violently attacking policemen and random members of the public, where firearms, acid bottles, stones, etc. were used, resulting in the admitted loss of 53 precious lives and destruction of public property worth several crores. These protests and riots, prima facie, seem to be premeditated, orchestrated, conspiratorial in nature, and the conspiratorial meetings were held between December 2019 right up till February 2020. The Honorable Court has clearly said the Delhi riots of February 2020 were premeditated. It was meant to destabilize the current Modi government. It was organized crime. And the Delhi police in its affidavit has said that CAA was used to camouflage a violent protest. The protests were engineered on communal lines, and the Delhi police says that prima facie, none of the accused, be it Umar Khalid, be it Miran Haider, be it Sharjeel Imam, or be it Gulfisha Fatima, none of them have been able to prove that they are not guilty. And the onus of proving innocence lies with them. And they have not been able to do so, barring their tactics of obfuscation, their tactics of delaying the judicial process. The Delhi police's affidavit so much as says that Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam repeatedly have abused the judicial process, and the protests were timed ahead of Donald Trump's visit to portray India in poorer light and to show that a Muslim pogrom was on the cards by way of CAA. I don't think it can get any clearer than that. And before being, verbose, I will just end by saying the Delhi police has named Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid's speeches at Amravati. They've named the Chakka Jam. They've named the inflammatory and incendiary speeches at Asansol and Jamia Millia. They say they have technical evidence, witnesses, 900 witnesses, CCTV footage, and WhatsApp chats which clearly show that Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam were the intellectual architects. That's the phrase used by the Delhi police. They were the intellectual architects of the Delhi riots, which left 53 people dead, 700 injured, and
is the opportunity here.
Ankit Sharma, who was stabbed 51 times. Ankit Sharma, a young 23-year-old IB official, was stabbed 53 times, purportedly by the ex-AAP councillor who's no longer with the party, Tahir Hussain. And Amanatullah Khan is also one of the people who's facing PMLA charges pertaining to funding the Delhi riots.
Amanatullah Khan is Aam Aadmi Party. Ladies and gentlemen, the peculiar position of the Aam Aadmi Party in the case of Jahangir Puri shows that they want to be on both sides. But that's the reason why people, Hindus particularly, are worried about the Aam Aadmi Party, because you take a pro-Sharjeel Imam, pro-Amanatullah Khan position. It is not clear where you stand. I would like to humbly bring this matter on the record with you. I would like to humbly bring this matter on the record with you, that please understand how serious the matter is. There was an anti-Hindu riot.
Arnab, you will have to please first.
There was an anti-Hindu riot.
Arnab,
see, let's be very clear. There was an anti-Hindu riot.
I've understood the question. I know what you want.
Yeah. There was an anti-Hindu riot, and I just want clarity on where you stand on it. Was there an anti-Hindu riot?
I will speak very clearly on it if you allow me 2 minutes. See, one is that we condemn violence in any form. Anybody who does any activity against India or against any person should be behind bars indefinitely. There is no doubt in our mind saying that. Having said that, since you tried to pin the blame on one of our Sanju Verma ji tried to pin the blame on one of our MLAs for no rhyme or reason. Let me tell you, just because your current law minister Kapil Mishra, who stood there, gave communal speeches, incited violence, उनके ऊपर अगर एक FIR भी नहीं हो पाती, उनकी एफआईआर रजिस्ट्रेशन के टाइम पे अगर एक जज का ट्रांसफर कर दिया जाता है तो उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो बेगुनाह है। आप कुछ भी आरोप लगा के भाग नहीं जा सकते। आप अनुराग ठाकुर के बयान देखिए, आप उठा के देख लीजिए। आई डोंट वांट टू रिपीट हिज कम्युनली फैनिंग। आई डिड नॉट स्पीक इन बिटवीन यू ना। आपके नाम का कोई मजाक उड़ाता है तो आपकी तब तिल मिला जाती हैं। आप तो महिलाओं के लिए क्या क्या नहीं बोलती, आप महिलाओं के लिए एडजेक्टिव्स यूज करती हैं उनके बीच में। मैंने आपके बीच में बोला कुछ? अभी आप चाह रही थी कि आपके बीच में कोई ना बोले कुछ, बट यू जम्प्ड इन। Whatever you say doesn't apply to you. A typical trademark of BJP. You lie through your teeth all the time. You fabricated and made up a story about Amanatullah Khan right now, and you are running away from what Kapil Mishra did, what Anurag Thakur did, what Parvesh Verma did. Now let me
Tahir Hussain. Why are you supporting Sharjeel Imam? Why do you always support urban
MIM gave him the ticket. Don't lie. This is a widely watched show. Stop spreading misinformation. You are the one. आपकी पार्टी ने
government under section 6 and 7 of the UAPA. He finally relented under public pressure.
Priyanka, let's bring this down to fundamentals. Priyanka, if I may bring this down to one fundamental.
Umar Khalid to be prosecuted.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring this question. Sanju, there are others on the program. I would like to bring in Ratan Sharda. I would like to bring in Subrashta. I would like to bring in Umar Khalid, and I would also like to bring in Talamir Rashidi. See, the core issue today is not actually Aam Aadmi Party. The core issue is a much bigger issue. And the bigger issue is that Narendra Modi has been Prime Minister of India since 2014. And the BJP is becoming stronger and stronger. The Congress has become weaker. The other parties have not grown. The Aam Aadmi Party has not consolidated. It has not done well in Gujarat. It is unable to have a mass presence across India. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, in the foreseeable future, there are some people. Every time BJP wins the national election, sit together and say, now, will we have to have a BJP government for next 5 years? So, hamara kya hoga? So they sit together and they say, let's create a chaos using activism, media, communal polarization, bringing Muslims on the streets, creating some chaos and timing it to an international event like Donald Trump coming to India. And then saying, well, there's chaos in the country, we have to take over because the democratically elected government cannot run the country. It's a simple formula. That's why Rahul Gandhi goes and meets Ilhan Omar, all these people, George Soros, Falana Tikana. It's a well-planned thing. I want to quote out here that on 23rd, 23rd of January 2020, Omar Khalid chairs a secret conspiratorial meeting at a secret office near Madina Masjid, Silampur protest site with Natasha Narwal, Devangana Kalita and members of Madina Masjid, Silampur, and tells them, quotation, CAA NRC के खिलाफ भारत सरकार को छुकाने के लिए अगर हमको दंगे करने पड़े तो इसके लिए हम बिल्कुल तैयार हैं। हमने हथियार इकट्ठा कर लिया है। स्टेटमेंट is in the charge sheet. उसके बाद उमर खालिद ने गुलिफ्शा, तस्लीम और सोहेल को कहा कि वो लोग एसिड, कांच की खाली बोतल, पार, डंडे, लाल मिर्च पाउडर आदि सब इकट्ठा करें ताकि दंगों के समय इस्तेमाल किए जा सके। फिर इन्होंने एक स्पीच दी 23/1/2020 को जिसमें कहा कि हमारे पास 4 हफ्ते 28 दिन है, अगला जो सुनवाई है, अगले सुनवाई तक सरकार तो छोड़ो, कोर्ट को उसकी नानी याद आ जाए। ये आपकी जिम्मेदारी है. This is the language towards the court. 1 minute. और नहीं, let me tell the people, no. जिसके लिए सिंपैथी कैंपेन या उमर खालिद के लिए आप लोग बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, इनका असली चेहरा पर्दाफाश तो कर दूं मैं थोड़ा सा. मैं पर्दाफाश कर देता हूं थोड़ा सा. Let me पर्दाफाश it. Let me पर्दाफाश it. 1 minute. 1 minute. Now here's the point. आपने मुझ पर कहा 1 minute. आपने मुझ पर कहा I'll tell you. I'm replying to you. Don't shout. आपने बोला कि Arnab, Congress government, police put a lot of charges against you. Yes, they put a charges against me and they put me in 2 jails. I was in the Alibag jail and the whole country knows I was also put in Taloja jail. But when I came out, there was a matter which was heard at the highest levels in the court. And when my appeal was heard by the court, it was not sub judice. It was not sub judice. When I came out in the court, then Justice Chandrachud delivered a verdict. 14 days later, the written form of the verdict came out. And in his verdict, Justice Chandrachud said that there is no prima facie case at all. Aapne kya kiya hai? This is a weaponization of the criminal justice system. These are completely false charges that you put. That's not what the court has said about Umar Khalid. That's not what the court has said about Umar Khalid. No, there's no comparison. Don't you compare me to a terrorist, please. Don't you dare compare me to a terrorist. Don't you dare use my case to support a terrorist. And let me remind you, Kapil Sibal, who fought against me, is fighting for Umar Khalid. Kapil Sibal, who fought against Harish Salve in my case, is fighting for Umar Khalid right now. That should answer your question.
If the police say this story is a gospel truth, then you should believe the police in this story in your case also. If you believe that the police
relax. Tukre gang, relax. Tukre gang should relax.
Give me 30 seconds.
Tukre gang should relax.
Allow me to respond. Arnab, the thing is that according to the Delhi police and to my London friend Mr. Arnab Goswami, Umar Khalid, allow me, Shubrata, this is not your time. Let me
Shubrata, let him finish. I'll come to you right after that.
Sure.
According to my learned friend, Mr. Arnab Goswami and Delhi police, Umar Khalid is not a student activist, but he is a James Bond movie villain who is plotting a regime change against the government.
I am asking a simple question to Priyanka Kakkar also. Priyanka, forget Aam Aadmi Party. Priyanka, do you believe there was an attempt at regime change or not? Forget everything else. Do you think this was an attempt at regime change or not?
See, then I have to question who will benefit. Let's talk about who will benefit from it.
All those who don't benefit when Modi gets elected.
Who? No. In Delhi,
whoever got American funding will benefit.
Trying to form a government, but could not.
Did you get American funding?
Even BJP would benefit in Delhi, right? From a regime change, come on, Arnab, let's remain on one thought and debate it out. No. Now, also in this case, see, I stand with nobody. But what happens in our cases, convictions are very rare and that is painful to me. Because Jessica was murdered.
This is not a Jessica case. This is a regime change. National regime change operation. This is not an individual crime.
Investigations are so...
individual crime nahi hai, desh ke khilaf hai.
That nobody will be punished. My fear is that nobody will be punished. That is why I drew the analogy. Now, my fear is nobody will be punished because either the investigation is so shoddy or it is misdirected. Now there are so many people. Now we saw in these Delhi riots case, for example, what kind of observations the court made against Delhi police. That is very worrisome. Even 25,000 rupees was fine imposed on a SHO. It was even said that it is historically the worst investigation ever.
Show me that meeting between all these people, Yogendra Yadav and all going on. Okay, here's a question to you. I want to ask one question, just 1 minute. Yeah. The full frame picture, you see this picture out here, not this one. There was another one around the table. I just want to know, what were these people doing? Yogendra Yadav, Sarjil Imam, there's a man called Prashant Tandon. What were Omar Khalid?
You have to ask those people, I wasn't there.
What were they doing there? What was Yogendra Yadav teaching them? Political science.
That is the
No,
I
that
don't
is
think
nahi,
it-
there
I
was
don't
a
think it is
secret
even part of the
conspiracy, no?
investigation, what you're alleging here.
No, I'm not alleging. I'm saying what was going on. A political science class.
That is just
Come on now.
imagination. That is your
Ratan Sharda hasn't
wild
spoken. Ratan
imagination.
Sharda.
When the police is also not saying this.
Arnab,
The police is saying
let
regime
us not
change.
let us not get entangled in AAP and BJP and these kind of shallow talks. Issues much more serious. I have rereading his book called Delhi Riots 2020. In this book, the author, the advocate Monica Arora, etc., she says that Delhi 2020 riots were not riots, the first of its kind urban warfare. So on one side, you had urban Naxals led by people like Prashant Bhushan and Harsh Mandar and all those people who are creating the background to create a wrong narrative, a false narrative that CAA is against Muslims. There is not a word in CAA which is against Muslims. I have been in your debates time and again. I asked these people to tell me one phrase, one word which is against Indian Muslims. They had no answer. But based on that, these people created a narrative with the support of media, which took it around the world. And went to years during those times, people said, what are you doing against Muslims? That is how narrative was created. On the other side, the foot soldiers like Tahir and others were creating the riot situation. You had these people creating a red herring by having Shaheen Bagh, agitation with dadis and nannies and shiros. On the other side, people like Tahir were preparing for riots. You had welded catapults. You had hundreds and thousands of pouches of acid. You had tons of bricks there. You had iron chains hanging from the building to go down. All this was done. People were murdered before even his trials began. The riots in the institutions like Jamia Millia, JNU began even before this had begun. So the center exercise began on 15th December 2019 and ended on 25th 2020 with the riots. So all this has to be taken into account.
And the idea was, Ratan Sharda, if I can take it from there. The idea was.
They will hit the streets. Wasn't it? It wasn't true.
No. The idea was Congress party, which had lost the elections, a frustrated party, thought. The question was this, that what has happened is the Congress party is this, that it saw that if it could mobilize or through these groups, if it can, it would be a beneficiary, I presume, because the conspiracy was pan-India. Muslims were mobilized and provoked in Uttar Pradesh. There was riots in Aligarh, Meerut, Bijnor, Kanpur, Firozabad, Muzaffarnagar, Rampur, Varanasi and Lucknow. 19 and 23 people lost their lives, I think, at that time. In Assam, there was again violence in Guwahati, Dibrugarh, Kamrup and other areas. West Bengal also, there was violence by polarizing Muslims in Murshidabad, Howrah, Malda, Nadia, North 24 Pargana. In Karnataka also it happened. And in Kerala it happened in a big way, big Muslim population, Tiruvananthapuram, Palakkad, Wayanad, Kozhikode and Ernakulam. So the idea is, viewers, don't ever think this will not happen again. They will try to polarize Muslims and provoke Muslims and create Hindu-Muslim violence in this country. And then they want to talk about secularism after that. In Maharashtra there was violence, in Bihar there was violence. And that is why, is that the reason why Rahul Gandhi supported the Tukde Tukde gang and supported Kanhaiya Kumar, went to JNU? Do you think we don't understand here? You have the guts, go and win an election. You can't win an election, can't polarize riots
Arnab, you could join
in the country. And no, I'm not joining Bollywood. Thank you for the offer. Bollywood knows what I have done to it, and I have done something serious to it.
40 minutes,
the question to you is this.
Even Hitler had many chintus like you who are there to always defend the regime. And when you talk of change of regime,
I don't understand why are panelists on the other side so personal today?
Because they're frustrated.
Personal. You are taking it personal. Nothing is personal. We are
calling somebody
Chintu
is not personal. Calling somebody Chintu is not personal for you.
But if somebody calls Pappu, what are you?
You people are idiots.
What are you, Pappu ka chamcha?
Right.
You are chamcha to Pappu.
Change of
Yeah, yeah,
regime.
right.
You are Papu's chamcha?
Regime is not-
Are you Papu's chamcha?
Why are you legitimizing ego?
I don't know. I'm not
so
personal.
much ego?
They want to get personal. I can get 20
Have
times more
courage to
personal
listen.
with them.
Have courage to listen.
No, you
First
have the courage to
listen
be
that.
to answer. Are you
You don't have courage
Papu's?
to
Are you Papu's chamcha? When I hit you back Hindu
Our
college
leaders-
style,
our-
you will
our
not be able to
leaders did
talk.
too.
Please
Our leaders
do
did
not
too.
force me to hit you
You're
twice as
afraid
hard.
of-
I know how to
Listen.
slap people 10 times
No,
as hard.
change of regime
Be
is not
careful with
conspiracy.
me.
Change of regime
Be
is
careful
democracy.
with me.
What is this?
Change.
They have been-
Was there an
democracy.
attempted regime change? I'm only asking
By
you.
the
Why are you
international-
getting touchier? Say there
It's
wasn't.
democracy.
Just
Changing
like they
regime
are
is
doing
democracy,
right
not
now.
conspiracy.
I did not get a
Subrashta, he's saying regime changes democracy.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
You're on
He
the
admits
let me
regime
set the
changes.
frame.
Viewers, watch
For the
every
purpose-
word.
When we
Watch
talk about
every
the
word.
Delhi riots, we cannot see them in isolation. We must look at them within a global geopolitical context where rising nations increasingly face coordinated external pressures. I don't need to
know nothing
remind
about
the viewers what
geopolitics.
has happened in
And you are
Brazil.
talking about geopolitics.
I don't need to
You are
inform
talking about
that it is
geopolitics.
not through army but through information
you are
campaigns,
against
sir.
farmers. You are
With
against
street level
opposition.
mobilization, with
According to
narrative
you-
warfare.
According
India's
to you,
growing
the farmers,
strategic autonomy.
the students,
I don't
the
understand. Why are you
opposition,
not letting me
everybody
set
who
the frame?
disagrees, the
Why are
dissenters
you
must
not
be in the
letting
jail.
me set the frame, sir? Please listen to the other side also. Have the patience. You guys were on
Madam,
the streets
I said
defending
nothing.
democracy. Be democratic.
Only you
enough
people
to
get
listen to
opportunity
the
in these
other
debates to talk. I
Please
said
tell
nothing.
me.
What are you
Please
responding?
tell me.
Why are you responding?
A local
When I said nothing, why are you
flashpoint
responding?
was
Why are you
almost
responding? Responding to what?
instantly, Arnab, followed by a global digital narrative. Foreign political statements were, given out before facts could even settle. There were
Don't practice your
well-resourced
intellectuality.
advocacy
We know what you
groups
are.
who were
We
pushing
know
a
what you
particular
are.
kind of
You know nothing
framing
about
across
politics and you're talking
platforms.
about
Does this
geopolitics.
happen
You're
without
talking
any
about geopolitics.
synchronization?
We know your
Of course,
intellect.
none of this
We know you're
proves-
trying to fool people.
None of this
You are
proves
expert in-
guilt
you're
of
expert in
individuals.
fooling people. Don't show your intellectualism. We know
What it does
how much you
do
have in you.
is to showcase to us that the strategic resemblance to modern foreign
strategic. We know what is
warfare.
strategic.
Shake.
Setting up narratives, that is strategic,
Shake.
geopolitics. There is nothing like
and why did international commentary mobilize before credible details emerged domestically in India? We need to ask questions like, why did certain hashtags trend
all
abroad
dissenters,
first?
Shubhashtra,
We need
all
to ask, why
dissenters,
did activists
farmers,
and groups
Muslims,
overseas
Dalits,
to coordinate
as per you are anti-nationals, they are terrorists, should be in jail. That's what you are trying to say.
How was the speed and choreography of the global response orchestrated? These are not accusations. These are facts in the
thing you
public.
are trying
One
to
minute.
do-
Just one minute. Shake.
Any sovereign
Shake.
democracy
Why,
worth their
whatever
salt
Arnab
will
is saying,
scrutinize.
let me tell you, what you people are doing, you're trying to kill the hope in the people that there will be a change in regime. Yes, there will be. Waqt badlega. You people are going against the nation. When you talk about farmers,
What are you
Muslims,
trying to say?
Dalits, students, activists.
I'm sorry. Regime change doesn't happen after elections get over, and because you've lost elections, you sit on the streets creating mayhem. That is exactly what
Just
Baba
because
Sahib
you won
Ambedkar warned
election
against
first
in his last
2040,
speech. In his
don't
last
jump.
speech, when the
Okay,
Constitution-
Tala is one way. I like to bring in Tala. Tala versus Sanju now. Tala versus Sanju. Tala.
Sanju quoted about court's ruling. I want to quote Supreme Court's ruling, the October 27 court ruling. The Honorable Justice Arvind Kumar said about the latest hearing on the bail. He said, frankly speaking, in bail matters, there is no question of filing counters. He said, delays, postponements, adjournments, and rejections of bail and bail hearings have marked the incarcerations of these activists. These activists,
In this particular case, in this particular case, no, one minute. No, one minute. Don't make a generic argument for bail. Don't make a generic argument for bail. In this case, the accused refused to take copies of their charge sheet as a delaying tactic. Delay has been perpetual by the accused.
We will not allow the Constitution.
The Delhi High Court, in its judgment in Taslim Ahmed versus State Government of NCT of Delhi, noted that the delay in trial is solely attributable to the accused.
Beat Rihanna, beat Anurima Bhargava, beat Sunita Vishwanath, beat Praveen Gupta.
he and his colleagues are in prison since last
unable to see Narendra Modi and India's meteoric rise in the last 11 years. They want to destabilize the Modi government. They want a regime change, but it is not happening.
But here we see that they are not being granted bail.
Goswami a Chintu, then you need to redefine the word Chintu. In less than 8 years, he has created a media behemoth. In less than 8 years, he's become one of the most successful anchors turned media entrepreneurs. And you don't like self-made people. You don't like self-made people like Goswami.
On a legal point, Sanju, on a legal point, Sanju, I would like to add here for Sheikh Amir, because the Chintu level arguments I will not respond to. But I would like to say here that is it not true that Omar Khalid sought adjournment more than 7 times without arguing on merit?
If he gets bailed out tomorrow, how you will face the nation?
No, one minute.
If he gets bailed out tomorrow,
I will still be against it.
a trial is yet to be started just because of an affidavit.
That won't change my
Just because of an
position one bit.
affidavit from the Delhi police, the police which comes under Home Minister Amit Shah.
Kanhaiya Kumar, when he said Bharat tere tukde honge, inshallah, inshallah, I dare you. Can you say Bharat Mata ki jai?
खुद ही मूवी डायरेक्ट कर रहे हो
Republic
संजू वर्मा कितना झूठ बोलोगे, शर्म तो आनी चाहिए.
Can you say
Lying on national television,
Bharat
कितना
Mata
झूठ
ki
बोलोगे,
jai?
शर्म तो आनी
No,
चाहिए.
you will not do that.
शर्म नहीं आती क्या?
Can you sing?
Who said भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे? Prove it. Prove it.
आपके लिए
Prove it.
पहले आपका religion आता है, देश बाद में आता है. Can you say that the forces did a great job in Operation Sindoor?
Religion की बात मत करो.
Can you applaud Prime Minister
Religion की
Modi
बात
for
मत करो.
Operation Sindoor?
संजू
No.
वर्मा रिलीजन की बात मत करो.
Can you say that the
तुम्हारी औकात
CAA is
नहीं है.
required for the benefit of persecuted minorities in Bangladesh, Afghanistan and
You have
Pakistan?
become
No, you
Supreme
will not
Court,
say
you have
that.
become High
Can
Court.
you speak
सब
out
कुछ
against nikah
अपने
halala?
एसी रूम में बैठकर
No.
डिसाइड कर लेते हो.
Can you
decide
speak
everything
out
from your
against
room.
polygamy in Islam? No. Can you speak out against Rajiv Gandhi
Why are you speaking
overturning the
against?
Shah Bano
Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you
No.
speaking against my religion?
But you will
Who the hell are you?
and
Who the hell are you?
BJP. Who the hell
are you?
I'm the national spokesperson
I am
of
saying,
the
who the hell are
largest
you?
political organization in the world.
Why I should speak
a
against
party
my
called
religion?
the Bharatiya
Why are you
Janata
speaking
Party.
against my religion?
And who are you?
Why are you communalizing the debate? Why are you communalizing the Arnab, why don't you step in? Now you
Omar
are
Khalid was the founder of the idea of Chakka Jam. 1 minute, a point to note, Ratan Sharda. Omar Khalid was the founder of the idea of Chakka Jam for riots. That is different from a dharna. He executed the same through Sarjil Imam and Asif Iqbal Tanha. The first 2 Chakka Jam sites were Shaheen Bagh and Jamia Gate number 7. They were created on his explicit instructions, Priyanka. On 13/12/2019, as riots took place in the area of Jamia, where a large number of students, ex-students and other members of a particular community and members of different students group were organizing anti-CAA protest rally, essential services were disrupted, private and public property were damaged, civilians and 20 police personnel sustained injuries. Omar Khalid was very much present at Jamia on the day of the incident along with Sarjil Imam, Asif Iqbal Tanha and others. Omar Khalid said in front of all protesters that Sarjil, Saiful and Asif are his brothers and members of his team. He also said he had explained the difference between Chakka Jam and Dharna to Sarjil, Saiful and Asif. The first 2 Chakka Jam sites, Shaheen Bagh and Jamia, and Republic was attacked at Jamia. Priyanka, take a position today.
I could
Take a position, please.
Well,
I
I'm
request
very
you.
clear.
Don't
If this
fence
is
it.
true what you are telling me, if this is true, I am very clear. If this is the truth what you have said, these people should never come out of jail. Having said that, I read in the papers that Umar Khalid was not even in Delhi at that time, and the police has presented a speech that he gave in Amravati. But no speeches that were given by Kapil Sharma in Delhi, but of no speeches that were given by Anurag Thakur in Delhi, no speeches that were given by Parvesh Sharma in Delhi.
One
That's
minute.
my
People spoke up. The media woke up. Republic fought. Without that, 25 so-called protest sites would have become war zones. Thousands of people would have been killed. And if this Sarjil Imam, Umar Khalid's plans had gone ahead, arterial roads to the Parliament of India and to Delhi airport would have been choked by mobs.
Arnab,
there would be
people in the
mass
studio
industrial scale
working,
violence
saying,
and
let
killings.
the CA be there, we'll create multiple Shaheen Baghs. There are people in studio, the backside told me, let us create multiple Shaheen Baghs, let CA come. Because they were winning the Delhi election. That is how low those people are for winning election. And when Kakkad says that this is said in Amravati, that's precisely the point. That you spread the
और ये हो
entire
जाता
misinformation
ये हो जाता
across
तो फिर
Bharat,
वो कहते
create
कि ये
disaffection
Gen Z
across
protest है.
Bharat. But for COVID, we would have faced worse situation. It was
Yes,
COVID that
yes.
saved us because they had to disperse.
Tala.
And here Chintu Pintu
Sir,
is
I'm
telling
talking
you
facts.
what is law, what is right.
Tala, I can't hear Tala, audio.
Was the most historical, most peaceful, most democratic protest of the century, and we
Yeah,
are
peaceful.
really proud of
So
that
what was
protest.
Tahir Hussain gang doing? How
that
did the
strengthens our
stones,
democracy,
the
democratic
catapults,
values,
and all those
constitutional
assets
rights,
came
fundamental
overnight?
rights.
They came
But
overnight.
Ratan Sharda,
Ratan Sharda.
Me that all these things shown on the screen, all these weapons
peaceful.
came overnight. So you had thousands of liters of acid, you had catapults welded, you had chains, everything came up overnight. You vacated the school next to the building, it came overnight. Are you saying that
Okay.
every house had stones already?
Sanju.
Had offensive weapons already?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Sanju. No.
File a FIR against
Arnab, I
Kapil
want to
Mishra,
ask you one
long
thing.
lister of
What did the
Delhi
court
government.
say and what did the
On
Delhi
April
police
1st,
say?
2025,
Who formed the
a local
WhatsApp
court
network?
directing Delhi police
Who
to
was
file
the
an
brain
FIR
behind the
to
Delhi riots?
investigate
Who
Mishra
gave that
and
incendiary
his
speech in
investigating
Amravati?
Okay, viewers, I'm short of time. The courts will decide tomorrow, despite whatever the courts may say or do. We believe that Umar Khalid is a threat to society at large, and people like him also are. Sarjeel Imam and Umar Khalid are plain vanilla rioters and leaders of violent mobs. We must be very careful. See you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.